Hello, everyone. Welcome to day number 2 here on the Unstoppable Service Dog Workshop. I am your host, Caitlin Bird, the owner of Caitlin's Animal Training Services, as well as the lead trainer for the program, the Unstoppable Service Dog. I am so excited to have each and every single one of you here today. Please let me know who is here. I see we have several people here with us live. Comment down below. Let me know where you are coming from and who's here. All right, so yesterday we covered the introduction to auto settle. And as a reminder, all of that is actually in your free workbook. So we're going to go flip the back of the workbook. That's where all of our challenges are located. So day number 1, we have a pretty well written out recipe about AutoCom. Hello, Lavia. Nice to see you. I hope I said that right. Hello, Lori. Hello, Kira. Oh, you and Apollo are watching. That's fantastic. I love it when we have our service dog partners with us here. So if you have not seen the very first session, make sure to go back into the group and rewatch that because this is how you want to get started and just start practicing. Get your ears wet, okay? Hello. Hello. I don't know who said that. Make sure to go into the link at the top of this live and give StreamYard permission so I can see who you are in future videos. Hey, Kelly, there you go. There you are. You don't have to configure or whatever that word is. I'm coming from my living room, LOL. Is that Wisconsin? Is that Wisconsin? All right, so we are going to be going over about generalization, right? What is generalization? I'm sure some of you ladies here can give us some great information. Hello. Again, make sure I'm here on StreamYard, so I cannot see your comments unless you give StreamYard permission in Facebook. There's a little link at the top of this live. From Syracuse, Amanda, no way. My boyfriend's from Syracuse. We go a few times every year. That's awesome. Small world. Yes, Wisconsin. Okay, good. All right, so generalization. If I were to ask all you lovely, wonderful, smart, beautiful people here today, right? Because I know a lot of you here already have your own service dog and have already done training for a while, even if this is your first service dog, right? If I were to ask you, what does it mean to generalize a behavior? How would you explain that to me in your own words? For example, if I gave you the behavior sit, and I asked you to generalize that so my dog can perform it everywhere, what's the first few steps that you would take in your training plan to start generalizing that behavior? I'll give you a couple minutes to respond. It'll probably take a little bit of typing on your cell phones there. Let me know. I love how active everybody is on here today. I don't have to be worried about talking to my plain office wall. Awesome. Livia says, generalization is when a dog is able to do cues in different settings with different distractions. Right, so that's a big, large generalization. Absolutely. Using the word to describe the word. Okay, so what is the first couple steps you would take to start generalizing the sit behavior? Let's talk about that for a minute. What's the first step you would take? And if you've ever taught a dog training class or if you've attended many, you might know the answer to this. Lori says to be able to do it everywhere, so I work on it in different situations. Right, so let's be more specific. What kind of situations? So let's say, let me get you started, right? If you're having a hard time with this, understandable. So let's say I have a new puppy. I have a dog, or maybe I just got the dog from a shelter, right? He's never been taught how to sit in his entire life. And my entire house is carpeted. So I teach my dog sit. I teach my dog sit on the carpeted surface, right? What's the next step I would have to take to start generalizing that behavior? I'm going out on a walk. I'm so proud of teaching my dog that he just learned sit. I taught him that all myself. He did it so quick, right? Just took a couple days for him to learn sit. So proud of myself. And we're on a walk, and We're on the sidewalk and it's concrete. And I ask my dog to sit. He looks at me like he's stupid. I assume my dog's stubborn. Is my dog actually stubborn? So yes, Lori says, do sit in different rooms in your house. That can be a step, right? What about that problem outside? Now there's concrete. Olivia says, I would find the most quiet and distraction low environment and start there and generally increase distractions. That's part of it. Different surfaces, different rooms, different places outside. Amanda, you're getting there. You've pointed out different surfaces. Yes, Lori, do it on hardwood floors. But my dog doesn't know how to do it on hardwood floors. What do we do now? Well, we have to start to lure, right? Kira says, I start by asking in new rooms and different surfaces, then in our backyard, then front yard, etc. Or the ground is lava, right? Or the ground is lava. It could be too hot to want to do the sit, right? Especially now that we're starting to get into springtime here. Some of the days can be quite warm. So we go back to luring, right? Kelly says automatically knows what to do in different situations, right? Right? So can do it in a wide variety of environments. And when produced with a new environment, they can just do it. You don't need to practice from scratch again, because the way that a lot of people teach sit, right? There's a lot of different ways to teach sit. You can capture, you can lure, you can, aren't those the two main ways? You can, I guess, use targeting, which is a kind of a form of luring. But you kind of have to start from scratch if you're in a brand new environment, right? Obviously, it's easier if you only add in one distraction at a time. Say I did it on all of my carpeted floors in my entire house. Well, if I then maybe found a tarp, that tarp might be too difficult, especially if it's a newly adopted dog. Could be terrifying to the dog, right? But if we found a smoother surface to start practicing on inside the house, guess what? My dog might not do it right away, but it's going to be easier to keep his focus, to maybe, if I'm teaching him to sit by luring, to lure him into position with that treat, right? To guide him to where I want him to be at. But again, if we jump right back outside and there's that concrete and there could be smells and there could be other dogs and it's a nice, beautiful day and he just wants to sniff the air and, you know, we're taking your time, you're going to have to go back to luring that dog into a sit. And your dog might not even keep their focus on you. Dog might even be too over aroused to keep that focus on you, right? Because we put him in a brand new environment where everything is different rather than just that one thing, right? That smooth floor. So fantastic answers, everybody. I love it. Very, very great. So let me start. This is going to be a fairly short live stream. I'm going to get you through kind of the general steps that I take to start generalizing the settle behavior, because of what a lot of people like to do. Okay, we're settling in the house. Let's go jump into the car, go to a new place and start practicing settling there, right? That's what everybody wants to do. Stop. Don't. Wait, stop, don't, right? So, like you guys already know, start generalizing that behavior. Practice it in every single behavior, every single area and room in your house. Practice that auto calmness everywhere in your house. Practice it on your settle stations, in your beds, off of your beds, on hardwood floor, on carpet, on other places, right? And once you start doing that, then, you know, we start doing it by the door. I use my front door, right? And we practice settle over there. And we sit down on a chair and we play on my phone or read a book or whatever, right? Watch TV if you can from wherever that front door is. And slowly start opening that door, right? Just a little bit at a time. Smallest little crack. And that's going to be hard because as soon as you open that door, guess what comes in? You don't have any visual distractions, right? Because it's just the teeniest crack. You can't see through that. But what comes rushing is a scent, right? And in order for us to be successful with our dogs and to have the smoothest transition possible, we want to add in one distraction at a time. And this is how we do it. Crack it open. A teeny little bit, right? start practicing your dog to settle. Once your dog can stay calm after several repetitions of putting head back on the ground, waiting for 30, 60, 5 minutes, right? Whatever, 30, 60 seconds. Then start opening it more. Add more visual distraction until eventually it's all the way open, right? That's where you start. And then you just have visual distraction right in front of you. Well, what's the next step? Visual distraction by the sides, right? So we settle in the house, everywhere, all sorts of surfaces. Then we move back to really easy stuff. So maybe you start with your bed, bring that bed with you by the door, just add in the scent, start adding in the visual. Once your dog can do the visual in front of you, take a step out. And you might have to keep that as a very short duration and step back in, right? Depending on your dog. But you might want to just inch really closer till you're right to the edge of that doorway. Thresholds are a huge thing in dog training, and a lot of people miss it. And that includes doorways of cars. That's a threshold too, right? And you want to be practicing settle in your car. So once you can settle on your front doorstep, or the front of your office building, or on the front of your apartment building, right? You're going to have to adjust this based on where you live. Not everything's cookie cutter, right? That's part of the beauty of it. Not everything's cookie cutter, and you have to be flexible. You got to get creative. And if you don't know what to do, ask somebody, because having a fresh pair of eyes can really, really help. You can ask me, right? I'm a very creative person. It's probably part of my little bit of ADHD, right? I see things a little bit differently than other people, and I'm very quick and I'm very adaptable. I'm very adaptable, let me tell you. So as we're doing this, right? Oh, and you know what, Kelly, we even mentioned, I almost forgot this, while you're cooking and while you're eating is very important. That's pre-restaurant work. Because you're also adding in smells. You're also adding in the social ability of you eating, right? So do it in those different activities as well. All right, so we're eventually outside working our way through that threshold, because everybody has a door, right? Everybody has a door. The foot traffic of that door might vary, but then you just have to get creative on how to handle that. And then eventually get into your car. Start practicing settle in your car before you turn it on. And then again, add in one distraction at a time. After several repetitions of calmness in the car with the car turned off, turn the car on. Stay there for a while. Practice your settle. Can the dog still do it? Great. Let's close the door. Turn on the air conditioning. Practice. Great. Put it in reverse. Get out. Go drive somewhere. Practice settling in the car before you get out. Open the door. Practice settling when your door is open. Right? So it's literally one step at a time. And where a lot of people mess up and get into problems is that they add in too many variables at a time, right? So take that from, again, practiced everywhere in the house in a lot of different situations, and then jump down to public. Can your dog do it? Maybe not, right? But you're always going to have more success when you add in 1 degree of distraction at a time. When you just do a little bit more at a time, you're always going to be more successful. Okay. And then, of course, once you can do it in the car, find an outdoor space. You guys have seen me on Instagram. You can follow us at Caitlin's Animals and at Adventures with Reaver, where at least for 1 hour a day, we always go out to somewhere and practice our settle for about an hour, right? Just to make sure that we can maintain that. Okay. And then, it takes on general, a lot of dog trainers have said on general, okay, well, when do you start to go to different places and different stores and different environments? So on average, depending on the dog, somewhere around 7 visits. Somewhere around 7 repetitions is about where they start to get to really into the flow of things. Again, depending on the dog, depending on their reinforcement history, depending on other factors, but in general, about 7. Okay. So outside Starbucks, 7 visits, you get 7 hours under your belt, and then you start to go somewhere else as long as your dog's good and you're confident, right? Maybe your dog needs more time. That's okay. Everybody's an individual. Go to the Whole Foods next door. They got a nice little patio set up out there. Go bring your mat, make it easy for your dog. Bring a mat, bring a bed, bring something to make it easy. Bring your chewies, bring your Kong, maybe a toy if you need to, something that's not going to get them super excited though, right? And practice it there. Go grab some food, do it for lunch, bring your dog, make it an enjoyable outing, stay there for an hour and leave, right? So that is the natural progression as we go. Okay. And of course, just like somebody else mentioned here, who was it? Who was it that mentioned level of distraction, like foot traffic? How many people are coming in and out? Some apartment buildings, there's a lot of foot traffic. And if your dog is super distracted by people, you might have to use, you might have to do an autofocus game instead of a settle, just to get your dog past that, to make sure your dog can stay focused on you and build it up so that your dog can naturally and automatically start defaulting to you because you're more reinforcing than the rest of the world, right? So you might have to start there. Again, you have to be creative. But again, that's the beauty of being a dog trainer. Everything's a little bit different. Nothing's always the same. Otherwise, I would get bored very quickly, right? Amanda says, love the car idea. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Livia says, taking notes here. I am sometimes too fast introducing new distractions and environments, 100%. And that's the most common mistake that people make. Number one most common mistake is too many criteria at once. Do we all remember the 3 criteria of dog training, the 3 Ds? Distance, duration, distraction. Most dogs fail when you introduce 2 or more, right? So distance, 1 at a time. Duration, 1 at a time. Distractions, 1 at a time, right? And we'll be doing more distraction work tomorrow. We're going to start with our no pulling series, and we're going to be starting with collar cues tomorrow for our training challenge. All right. So for today's thread, I posted yesterday's thread for auto calm. Today's is, I want to see you guys working on your series, your next level of series, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about this little piece in the packet right here. This is literally your step-by-step checklist of where to go. Where are you at in this checklist? Starts here, finishes down here. Okay, where are you at in this checklist where your dog can auto settle, auto calm? Where are you at? All right, and I want to see where you guys are at. Oh, of course, we're not focused. Are we not focused? We're not focused. That's okay. And I want to see where you guys are at in that training process in the thread in the Facebook group. Okay, so I'll be posting that right after this live. And I want you to record a 30-second clip, 30 to 60-second clip. All right, because we want at least enough time to see it in a natural environment. So 30 to 60-second clip recorded into that training challenge thread and help us cheer you on so that you can get to that next step and that you are taking it at your dog's pace. Because I got to tell you, the more you break it down for your dog, the more beautiful their behavior is going to be out in public. I mean, have you watched some of those guide dog puppy raiser videos out there? These are like oftentimes first, second, third time puppy raisers. And it looks like they've been training dogs for their entire lives, but they teach the volunteers to break it down in such a small, minute bit at a time that they can do it. That's a fun game. And they take these dogs everywhere with them, right? And they're practicing all the time. They've got a lot of training hours under their belt, but they're not expert trainers. They just kind of do what they're told, right? You guys can do it too. Just follow the recipe and you guys will be good. Yes, Lori says, same here. Have to remember that slow is fast in training. 110%. Okay, so I think we got, we have Patty. Patty sent in a video from our last workshop I wanted to show you guys, and she's actually doing it by the door. This, I believe, isn't quite a settle. It's kind of a mix between a settle and autofocus. Okay, so let me make myself smaller so you guys can see what I see. All right, here we go.
Okay, so we're at the door. Excuse the huge mess. Here's the door. This is just a rough angle, but I'm going to try to do the calm at the door thing. Good boy. Good.
And this was huge for her because he likes to rush out the door, like she just said.
So he's doing great. Good boy.
Look at that, right?
Good.
And then you want to work on duration with that door open. He is perked up a little bit. He is a little excited. So sit there. Stay there for a little bit. Wait for that head to go back down. Work on that settle. Or if you need to work on auto eye contact, you can do that too. And again, we'll go over that tomorrow. Okay. But that's where you start. So I want to see where you're at on that checklist. And would love to see that. All right. I wonder if I have any. I think they're all in my Instagram stories, the ones I've been doing with Reaver recently. And I have to move them over here. I don't think. Yeah. Hold up. Well, I can show you Daisy. I showed you Daisy yesterday. She's one of my current clients. She's doing it in a pizza shop and just walked in, sat down. She automatically started to do that. So they're starting to generalize that to other places. And then no, all the video I have is me with Reaver. Well, we do have the food one, right? I'm eating a pork chop. So make sure to practice around food in the house. Again, that's preliminary to starting at restaurants. It's even preliminary starting at Starbucks if you're sitting outside eating or drinking. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. All right. So I cannot wait. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see what all you guys have been doing with the training challenges in the group. That's going to be super, super exciting to see about you guys. I'm going to post that again right after this live. All right. Any questions? Any questions, comments, concerns? Let's start seeing some variety in the auto calm behavior. I can't wait to see where you guys are at with your training. All right. So if that's it, just remember you can reach me in the DMs here on Facebook, and I will see you guys at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to give you that link to the the Zoom, the private Zoom one-on-one meeting, so that if you guys, we're going to go over kind of as a recap for everything that we've covered in the workshop so far. So if you've missed a session, that's a great place to do it in. And if you have any troubleshooting training questions, I'll be there for you guys one-on-one in your private Zoom. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Tuesday, and I will see you tonight at 7:30. Bye, guys.